A person's strengths are often their biggest weaknesses. And so that also means that their weaknesses can be their strengths.
God, He uses pain to simply break walls down in your life. The only way you can receive the blessing He has for you is He's got to knock some walls down, and He's got to build your capacity. And the only way He can build your capacity is He has to challenge it.
I am weak, but I don't accept that. I don't accept that I am what I am and that is what I'm doomed to be. I'm always fighting, I'm struggling, and I'm scrapping, and I'm kicking and clawing at those weaknesses to change them, to stop them.
There are times in life when conflicts and trouble arise. How we deal with these conflicts, how we deal with these troubles reveals more about our character than we want to admit. Because what you are when the pressure is on is what you really are.
Because many of you are going, God, just stop the pain. God, just stop the trial. God, just stop the tribulations. God, just get rid of the pain. And I'm not making light out of your pain. I'm not sitting up here calling you immature or calling you weak. I'm just saying, what if there's a better prayer? What if the better prayer is, God, make me stronger. God, make me bigger. God, build my capacity. I want to be capable to carry everything that you have for me.
Some days I win. Some days I don't. But each and every day I get back up and I move forward with my fist clenched toward the struggle. And I fight with everything I've got to overcome those weaknesses and those shortfalls and those flaws as I strive to be just a little bit better today than I was yesterday.
As long as there's people, there's going to be conflict, disagreements, contention, dissension. Family reunion would be really nice if you didn't have to deal with your family. But everywhere there's people, there's going to be strife. There's going to be conflict. There's going to be trouble, because that's just the way it is.
The enemy works overtime trying to devalue us. He'd love for you to go through life letting what people say make you feel inferior, comparing your life to somebody else's, thinking you'll feel good about yourself when you catch up to them. But nothing you do will make you any more valuable. Nothing you achieve, nothing you overcome. You are valuable right now. You are one of a kind. You didn't come off an assembly line. God made you unique. There will never be another you. Put your shoulders back. Start carrying yourself with confidence. You have been fearfully and wonderfully made. We all have things that we're believing for. A dream to come to pass, problems to turn around. At one time, we knew it was going to happen. We stood in faith, but when it's been a long time, we don't see anything improving. It's easy to get discouraged and think that it wasn't meant to be. The delays, the detours, the disappointments didn't stop God's plan. What He started in your life, He's going to finish.
Let me tell you something. The stuff you've been through, don't pay it any attention. It is just a sign that the baby is coming. You're on the verge of birthing. You're about to give birth. I don't care whether you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. There's something down inside of you that's still kicking inside of you that wants to get out and it wants to live.
The scripture says the wise man built his house on a rock. The foolish man built his house on the sand. And when the storm came, the wise man's house stood strong and the foolish man's house collapsed. The thing about the story that's the most interesting thing to me is that wisdom could not prevent the storm. That both men had to go through it. Yet one man had a different value system. One man had already predetermined his foundation. One man already had a reaction plan.
Get up, change your position. And listen, if you can't stand up, look up. Just change your position. Start writing as though you're already up. Start planning as though you're already up. Start acting as though you're already up. Get up in your believing. Get up in your hopes. Get up in your aspirations.
It's necessary you take responsibility for it, that you make it happen, that you don't give up, that you keep on keeping on, that you don't decide that I can't make it because you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, that you realize that's a part of the program. And here's something you've got to resolve. Say this to yourself every day. See, as long as you're breathing, you got a shot at your dream. That's the way I resolve. Say this, please. It's not over until I win. You got that right.
Start doing everything that you can, because remember, the areas of your focus are the areas of your reward, and the areas of your neglect are the areas of your pain.
I want you to get some determination. I want you to put your shoulders back. I want you to put your feet down. I want you to understand that you can't choose what happens to you in life, but you always get to choose how you respond to what happens to you in life. I'm telling you, life is 10% what happens. It's really 90% how you react. You need to predetermine now your reactions, because it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Storms will come.
We have to learn patience. Patience is a virtue. Patience is the ability to wait with the right attitude. Because you're going to wait one way or another. The question is, will you be patient while you wait? And will you choose the right spirit in all seasons?
It may seem like what you're believing for could never come to pass. It's too late. The odds are against you. God is saying your time is coming. He has seen the lonely nights. He's seen the unfair situations, the times you're doing the right thing and not getting the credit. Voices whisper, it will never change. Don't believe those lies. Healing is coming. Freedom is coming. God has already put it on the schedule. The date has already been ordained.
When change is involved, somehow we get into this thing where we're kind of waiting for somebody else to do it. We're waiting on someone else to arrive. I mean, we've got to stop that. We got to stop waiting for someone to change before you change. You got to stop waiting for somebody to help you change.
You've got to weigh before you pay. Whether you're going to spend heavy time or light time, you've just got to weigh. Otherwise, if you're not careful, you can get trapped into spending heavyweight time with lightweight people. Now, it's okay to have casual friends as long as you give them casual time, not serious time. Spend major time with major influence and minor time with minor influence. So maybe all you need to do to change some of the influences in your life is not to eliminate them, but merely limit them. Take a look at your priorities and your values. We have so little time at our disposal. Wouldn't it make sense to invest it wisely?
If you can teach people to stand up in the face of the things they're afraid of, they get stronger. And you don't know what the upper limits to that are, because you might ask yourself, like, if for 10 years, if you didn't avoid doing what you knew you needed to do, what would you be like? Well, you know, there are remarkable people who come into the world from time to time. And there are people who do find out over decades-long periods what they could be like if they were who they were, if they spoke their being forward. And they get stronger and stronger and stronger, and we don't know the limits to that. We do not know the limits to that.
You must determine whether the situation and the people call for disassociation or limited association. But remember, if it isn't taking you where you want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, now is the time to fix it.
And so if your life isn't everything it could be, you could ask yourself, well, what would happen if you just stopped wasting the opportunities that are in front of you? You'd be, who knows how much more efficient? 10 times more efficient. 20 times more efficient. You have no idea how efficient people get. Well, and if we all got our act together collectively and stopped making things worse, because that's another thing people do all the time, if people stopped really, really trying just to make things worse, we have no idea how much better they would get just because of that.
What we think about is really what controls us. This is a control tower, that everything else is a result of how we think. And we can't control everybody else in control of all of our circumstances, but we are going to respond to circumstances in one way or the other. And so what you have to ask is this: what is it that determines what I think? This mind of yours controls everything else in your life.
Are you satisfied with your life as it is? Are you? Is your life giving you what you want? If you had your life to live over again, could you have done more than what you've done thus far? When I ask audiences that, most people agree, yes, I could have done more. I know I could have done more. I've wasted a lot of valuable time. You're going to lose something, lose money. You can recapture that. Don't lose time. You can't get that back.
But I think being grateful probably is number one. If you've got a job, you got to be grateful. Say, this isn't the greatest job in the world. Even if it's a transitional job getting you where you want to go, you got to be grateful. You don't have to love your job or be passionate about your job. Just passionate about staying steady, working hard, learning skills, doing this job so well that the next one will be even better, and taking such good care of this opportunity, another one will present itself.
What's next for me? After all of this, I don't think that things just happen. I believe that they happen just. We have a mindset. We don't want to be the same coming out of this. That you want some radical change, that this could be a major defining moment for you, a day that turns your life around.
If you have an extreme desire to wish to be successful, so you can accomplish all you wish to accomplish, be as generous as you'd like to be as strong as you'd like to be. And I think if you say you have to find your passion, people find that a little bit confusing. Where would I find it? And what could I be passionate about? I guess you could start with saying, I'm passionate about providing unusual success for myself and for my family. Then I think the key is to let what you want to accomplish, let that grow. Where at first this is as far as you can see, but if you'll do that, you could say, wow, maybe I could multiply by 2.
Listen to me. All of you, you're in the process right now. You're in the process of becoming what God wants you to be. The reason you keep waking up is because God ain't through with you yet. Because he still has something for you that you've yet to receive. But you have to start living your life in expectation. It is the law of attraction. It is nothing fake about it. The Bible says a man is as he thinketh. If you live your life in despair, that's what happens to you. If you say all men are dogs, you're going to meet every last one of them. I'll never be rich, you won't. The moment you change the frequency, different things come back to you. I'm telling you this how it works. If you change your attitude, you change your altitude.
There are many ways to get the things that we want for ourselves in our lives, but it all begins with how we choose to think.
Do you have the courage to act outwardly on what you see inwardly? Or will you die a dreamer? Will you die on the verge and on the edge and in the land of coulda, woulda, and shoulda? The strong hen rules the roost. Do you have the courage? I'm going to drop something on you. It takes courage to be successful. It is far easier not to be successful. Misery will always have company. Success breeds contempt. If you don't want to make waves, be mediocre. Be normal and fit in. And if you're more concerned about people than you are God, then neutralize everything he put in you. Just fit in with everybody else. Dress like them, walk like them, act like them, eat like them, go where they go, think like they think, do what they do. And once you've neutralized your uniqueness, you don't need courage. It takes courage to be different. It takes courage to go where you've never gone before. For some of you, it took courage to come to this conference. It takes courage to get you outside of the bar. It takes courage to be successful. It takes courage to win. People don't talk about people that don't win. If you win, they're going to talk about you. Do you have the courage to stand there though the storms keep raging and the people get to talking? You stand there and say, I've come too far to turn around. Text your girlfriend and say, do you have the courage?
You ain't got to be that smart. I flunked out of school. I ain't got no degree in nothing. Identify your gift and go do what you gifted at. Just go follow your dream, man. Go make your life happen. Quit tripping because you don't have what a group of people told you you need to be successful. Quit letting people tell you the route to success when clearly God created you to be different. Just go that route. Now, if you want to be a doctor, scientist, or lawyer, you got to get a degree. But if you're not that person, you can still make it. Because you don't have what he got. You ain't finna be what he is. God made you different. Just go be different. People pay you to be different. Weird people make money. Regular people don't make money. People pay for exceptional people. They don't pay regular people. If you aspire to something more than regular, you got to go be extraordinary. You ain't got to be like everybody else. If you do hair, go do everybody's hair. I'm telling you, man, you can be highly successful.
To be anxious is to have anxiety about something that hadn't even happened yet. Some of you are so worried by the threat of trouble. You're not in trouble, it's just that trouble has threatened you. And the threat of what might happen, what could happen, is wearing you down. Half of the things that you thought were going to happen never did happen. But if you allow those thoughts to dwell in your mind, it will succeed at robbing you of your peace, robbing you of your joy, robbing you of your life, just because you thought yourself into a nervous breakdown. You thought yourself into depression. You thought yourself into defeatism. The mind is the battleground. The fight is in your mind. So I want to challenge you to waste no more effort wrestling with other people.
I am afraid that too many times we have spent so much focus on teaching you to be good seed that we haven't taught you the power of good soil. And so when we come to soil issues, the seed ignores the soil. We flick the channel. That has nothing to do with me. We close our eyes because we have been taught to be good seed, but we have not been taught to pay attention to soil. And yet the Bible is clear. Jesus says the sower went forth sowing seed. And some fell by the wayside. Some fell amongst rocks. Some fell amongst thorns. The whole text is about environment. Look at you and look at your environment. Have you been positioned to flourish? Positioning has a lot to do with flourishing. To be in an environment, in a family that supports you. My sister and I were talking the other day. I was telling her what an amazing person she is, that all of our lives together and all the things that God did in my life, not once in all of the years that I've known her, and she was there when Mama had me, have I ever known her to be jealous of me. Not once, not ever. She has always been my cheerleader and my greatest fan.
And she said, how can I be jealous of you? You're my brother. I said, a lot of people have siblings that hate them, that are jealous of them, that hope they choke. And some of my development has to be that God planted me in an environment of people that supported me. My brother, my sister, my mother, my father, they all supported me. You can have good seed, but if you've been in bad soil, people who hated you, environments that denied you, education that underserved you, communities that limited you, mentalities that poisoned you.
This old proverb notion that I become what I think about all day long. And once you know that what you think about is what expands, you start getting real careful about what you think about. You don't allow your thoughts to be on anything that you don't want or that you wouldn't want to have manifest or show up for you in your life.
I used to start the day reading the morning newspaper. I mean, you can believe that or not. I'd load up on wars and riots and murders, bank robberies and muggings, car wrecks and tragedies. I'd load up on all that, and then I'd start the day. You can imagine the kind of days I used to have. The guy says, I want to be a great leader. The first thing we do is follow him to his house. We walk in and check his library. The reason is because what a man reads pours massive ingredients into his mental factory. You would not believe what some people have got in their house to read. One of the best dressed up words I know for a lot of it is trash. Can you imagine dumping a barrel of trash into this mental factory every day and coming out with a rich, dynamic, positive? Positive life, it can be done. The kids back in Danbury, they're asking me questions one day. I'm talking to the kids. One of them said to me, Mr. Rohn, how do you build the good life? I said, it's simple. Here's how you build anything. Select the right ingredients, keep out the wrong ingredients, and it starts with thought. So you must be wise and careful what you think about, because that starts everything. I asked the kids, what would happen if somebody dropped sugar in my coffee? They said, well, you'd be okay. What if somebody dropped strychnine in my coffee? They said, well, you'd be dead. Lesson 1. Life is both sugar and strychnine. I said, what if my worst enemy drops in the sugar? They said, well, you'd be okay. What if my best friend drops in the strychnine? They said, well, you'd be dead. Lesson 2. Watch your coffee. See, it doesn't matter who hands you the bad stuff. Mr. Schoaf gave me one of the greatest phrases when I first met him when he said, Jim, stand guard at the door of your mind. And you decide what goes into your mental factory. Don't let anybody just dump anything they want to in your mental factory, because you've got to live with the result.
If your soil wasn't right, it doesn't mean that you're not right, but if your soil wasn't right, it's going to affect how you root and how you grow. And you might grow a little bit. The Bible says you can grow for a while, but then the thorns will choke you out, or the rocks will not have enough soil for your roots to grow. Are you blaming God for something you ought to be blaming the soil for? You cannot take a peach seed and plant it in a teaspoon of dirt and expect it to grow. Though the teaspoon of the dirt is the same size as the peach seed, it will not grow. The seed will only grow when it is planted in something bigger than itself. And I want to know, where are you planted this morning? Are you planted in something bigger than you? Or have you always been planted in teacups, surrounded by little dirt, little resources, small-minded people, narrow, limited places that never let you stretch to reach your capacity? Sometimes you gotta go where the corn is. God wants you to be excited about your destiny so that you can endure the process that brings you into promise. Because there is a process before promise. And if you don't have at least a vision of the promise, the process will discourage you. But every time discouragement is trying to get you to give up the process, remember the vision you have of the promise and keep on walking around the wall. Keep on walking around. I'm tired, Lord, but I'm going to walk around this wall. I'm frustrated, Lord, but I'm going to walk around this wall. I'm lonely, Lord, but I'm going to walk around this wall. Ministry's not growing, but I'm going to walk around this wall. Thought I'd be married by now, but I'm going to walk around this wall. Lost the first house, applying for the second house. I'm going to walk around this wall. Credit's all jacked, Lord, but I'm going to walk around this wall. I'm trusting you when I can't trace you. I'm going to walk around this wall. And Lord, I am crazy enough to stand in front of a solid wall and shout as if it had already come. Listen clearly. I want to pronounce a benediction on every grieving, weeping, depressed, lonely, frustrated, tired spirit. Your period of mourning is over.
As Michael Todd would say, you are the star of your show. You are the director. You're writing the script. And you will determine whether your life is a hit or flop.
Let me give you 3 steps to start life change that can change your life, your lifestyle, everything can change. The first key to doing better is find out. To change your life, really, you need ideas. At first, I didn't have any money. I said to Mr. Shelf, I don't have any money. He said, that's not a problem. Now, see, up until then, I always thought it was. He said, no, the problem is lack of an idea on how to create money and wealth. So if you get the ideas, so you can change anything. Now, to get ideas, you need a constant study of finding out. Now, Shelf also said, when you find out something that works, put it in your journal so that you can do the next best thing. Repetition, repetition. Go over it. Go over it, sure enough, someday, some mysterious day, the idea takes root, starts to grow, and shows up in your bank account, and your personality, and your lifestyle. Shelf gave me this word for my life change. He said, study. If you wish to be successful, study success. If you wish to be happy, study happiness. Don't leave it to chance.